day, and exactly before 6 p.m. the responses are stopped, and whoever has completed that on that particular day, the certifications are done for that. The only fact is that if I prolong the process of certification, I am somewhere stuck with my primary task of Super Sunday all the time and not able to concentrate on my other task. That's the reason we are limiting it to only Sunday. Yeah, I request your cooperation on that. And right now we are getting into the part 2, but I would like to go for the quick revision of what exactly happened. We understood in the last Super Sunday workshop that this is how the whole document is divided: the approach, the school subjects and areas, cross-cutting themes, school culture and processes, creating a supportive ecosystem. Each of these part in itself is huge, very detailed. The most detailed one is the part A and the part B. Part A comprises of 100 pages. Part B consists of approximately 400 pages, but that's divided into multiple curricular areas. I would also like to give you a heads up that all these things that are present here with respect to curricular areas, they talk about the subject. They don't use the word subject anymore. They call that as curricular areas. These are not applicable for 2023-24 academic year. From board perspective, the pattern of competency-based assessment is going to be followed. The subject pattern, which is currently existing, the 4+1 and 2, whatever it is, it's getting followed. But the curricular areas where equal importance is given to math, science, arts, music, humanities, vocational subject, they're all at the same level. That is not happening right now. It's the next academic year. This is a more like a heads up. Many people had a query, and this is not explicitly mentioned anywhere, but what's really mentioned is the new curriculum and the board pattern on the CBSE website, which is not related to NCF 2023. So this is something that I would like to give you an alert of. Well, we also got into the detail of how was this framework developed. So the requirement forms the basis of the development of any program. मुझे इस चीज की जरूरत है. I need this particular thing. And in order to get that, what am I supposed to do? And this particular need is not of a particular person, individual. Here in this case, in this particular document, they very clearly mention that it is going to be the requirement of an individual, which is to be considered, which is common in a particular area, a small area. Multiple area put together forms a society. The culture, the tradition, all of these things are kind of common over there. So end of the day, what's really important is to identify the need of a particular society. So that's how they came up with this idea, vision of society. And somewhere in the document, they indirectly also convey the message that India as a whole country is considered as one society, because they talk about that Indian ethos, which I'll be showing you right after this, which is coming from vision perspective. Right after vision, we have vision of education. In this society, what kind of education is required so that the people can survive in this society and also in the society where they go in future for their further developments. That is a second aspect. The third is, we know the vision. Let us have a goal, an aim in which within 6 months, let me achieve that. Within 1 year, let me achieve that. When I mean 6 months and 1 year, I indirectly communicate that there's going to be a very important change of semester pattern and annual pattern of board exams. We'll talk about that little later. Then desirable values, dispositions, and capacities, and knowledge. We touch the area of the primary requirement of any learning process called as knowledge, skills, and attitude. Here in this case, what's really interesting is they have given priority to values and dispositions, like the attitude first, then the skills, which is capacity, and finally the knowledge. Knowledge also had multiple types of knowledge, you remember? We'll talk about it. Then we have curricular areas, culture, process, and all, which is more like what exactly is drafted on our textbook. Let's go further. I would like to read this quickly. The national education policy envisions an education system rooted in Indian ethos, very important, that contributes directly to transforming India, that is Bharat. It's changed, by the way, you know that? I do not know if it's a law or not, but Bharat is represented in multiple places. Sustainably into an equitable and vibrant knowledge society by providing high quality education to all, thereby making India a global knowledge superpower. That's the vision. It looks very promising. And in regards to that, they came up with this particular thing called as pramanas. Pramanas is the sources of knowledge or the evidence of the source of knowledge. For example, they categorize this into pratyaksha, anumana, upamana, arthapatti, anupalabdhi, shabda. Quickly, pratyaksha means anything that you learn out of your senses, sense organs. I'm looking at you, you look at me, and I learn that your hair color is black. I'm able to understand that you're coming from so and so region because of the kind of dress that you're wearing, because of my eyes, and all these things. Like I'm there in Kolkata, it's quite humid, and the region in this particular area will be humid in this part of the season. That's because of my skin. Pratyaksha, directly with the sense organs. Anumana is more like conclusions because of multiple other observations in using inferences. Upamana is more like you do not really experience that. You can't even experience that. It's more like an analogy getting created. Sometimes you say that, right? Just like the way a parasite is disturbing the host, you are disturbing the whole class. I do not know if the last statement just made sense or not, but yeah, up to a certain extent, it does. When you scold someone scientifically, it can be something like that. Upamana, where you try to use analogy, or else to in a simple manner, ullu ho kya? You say right that, right? You're trying to compare the student with ullu, and ullu is a bird. Basically, owl is a bird considered to be the symbol of wisdom. Upamana over here, right? Arthapati is again a very nice way of conclusion, but it's kind of different. It's like you have two statements, and based on the two statements, you try to find the obvious. It's like, for example, it's raining heavily every evening. Yeah, it's raining heavily every evening. Then we are living in a hilly region. So these are the two statements, and you can come to a conclusion that probably during the evening times, the wind direction is this, towards a particular direction, because of which it touches the hills and it showers. There is a conclusion where the statement is actually not even spoken about. Arthapatti. You need to get into the details to understand it even later, in a detailed manner. Anupalabdhi is non-existential. It's like there was a thing present over here, now it's not present, and indirectly it's communicating that that particular thing is supposed to be here. For example, a table, a study table, the moment you look at that, ideally what is your imagination? Probably somebody's thinking that a book is present over there. Probably somebody's thinking that a table lamp is present over there. Probably somebody's thinking study table to chair bhi hona chahiye na wahan par. Are you able to understand? Though you're looking at a study table which is completely empty, but the definition of study table, because of non-existence of things, you know that this has to be there. Anupalabdhi. Look at the document to the extent that they have gone. Finally, Shabda. Shabda is more from the perspective of what experts have written. I do not have any knowledge of trigonometry. It's written by some experts in my grade 10 book. For the first time, I've never experienced that. Just because I've never experienced that doesn't mean that I do not trust that. I have to trust it because it is written by great scholars, eminent personalities back in time. They have evidence for that, which is called a Shabda. This is very important, and that's the reason I'm touching this again, because after this, whatever document that we're going to look into, uh, it's going to be on based on pramana or sources of knowledge. Let's continue further. We also got into the details of what kind of an individual are we going to develop with respect to aims of school education for this NCF. One was rational thought and autonomy, health and well-being, democratic participation, economic participation, cultural and social participation, all from Indian perspectives. Let's continue further. These are the 8 curricular areas that are mentioned. So down the line, we might not call these as subjects, we might call these as curricular areas. And you can see that languages, mathematics, sciences, social science, arts, interdisciplinary areas karke alag hai. Physical education and vocational education. The best part is all of these things are considered at the same level. If a board exam happens, it will happen on all these areas. And it is mandatory for the students to attend all these areas in grade 10, and in grade 11 and 12, they have a choice. What sort of choice and all, we'll try to delve into detail in further workshops. But right now, let's take it one step at a time. So whatever we spoke just now can be represented in this particular fashion. I've just taken the picture directly from the PDF document, so it might not be clear, requesting you to go through NCF 2023. So vision of society, vision of education, aims, then desirable knowledge, skills, and attitude, then curricular areas. And each of these curricular areas will have their own aim, their own curricular goal, competency, and learning outcome. And this, whatever is written over here, no, aim, curricular goal, competency, learning outcome, all these 4 things are called as learning standards. I'll talk about that as well. Let's go further. Let's go further. School stages is foundational stage, preparatory stage, middle stage, and secondary stage, which is like quite common. Most of us know about it. Secondary stage is little different this time. It's not this time. It's like it has always been. But the treatment of grade 9 to 12 is more, together. I should say more like a cohesive approach for grade 9, 10, 11, and 12. It's like they're not mutually exclusive. They're kind of together. 11th and 12th also has an option of semester pattern exams. And they have also very clearly mentioned that board exam will happen 2 times. But they have not mentioned that the marks that are attained in one of the semesters or one of the board exams will be considered if it is better. No, they've not explicitly mentioned that. Maybe there's going to be a future CBSE circular that might explicitly mention, but there are few scholars out there who said that it'll happen 2 times and the best marks will be selected. I do not know what is the reference document for that, but anyways, maybe it's their own school of thought. Could be right, could be wrong, but I do not want to comment on that because this is not an opinionated workshop. Finally, child development, an important part. Whenever a child is born and raised, these are the 3 things happens: biological processes, cognitive processes, socio-emotional processes. Under these 3 areas, based on these 3 areas, they came up with stages of development, which is infancy, early childhood, middle to late childhood, and adolescence. Based on this is completely scientific. In fact, if you open a pediatrics document, a doctor who reads a pediatrician who is a pediatrician who reads pediatric subjects, you'll see that these are the exact categorization, and based on this, foundational, preparatory, middle, and secondary is categorized. Interesting, right? Let's go further. Based on that, they identified 5 areas of development in which our curriculum is getting developed. One is physical development, cognitive development, language development, socio-emotional development, and moral development. Earlier, moral development was not as a separate entity. Now they have explicitly mentioned that. And each of these, physical development for infancy is different, early childhood is different, middle to late is different, adolescence is different. Hence, for each of physical development under each category will have a different pedagogy. So that is what NCF is detailing about. I'll repeat it. This might be little over the clouds right now. I'll repeat it. Whenever a teacher is going through the NCF document, especially the part B and part C for that matter, they have approached each of these 5 domains of development for each of the stage separately. That means if a teacher wants to teach a student from cognitive development point of view, her approach is going to be different for foundational stage, preparatory stage, middle stage, and the secondary stage. And they have clearly mentioned what it is supposed to be. I'll show that also today. You'll get a clarity, and based on that, you can further read the document. Let's go forward. Yeah, that's Panchkosha adaptation. You're absolutely right. Well, this is something related to planning perspectives. How does a teacher plan or a school plan the complete implementation? So these are the components that are supposed to be present. It is just like materials required to run a school. You need a curricular structure. You need the content. You need the pedagogy. You need the assessments. You need the classroom arrangement, and you also need the teachers. Teachers are going to be of high demand down the line because the variation in the subject line. You'll see that humanities includes languages as well. So any teacher who is taking languages need to understand the
Vasu sir, you're
I'm
on
sorry.
mute.
Yeah, I'm on mute. I'm sorry. So the YouTube session was also planned like parallelly running, and it got overlapped with what I was speaking. I'm so sorry. So here we go. So the teachers are of going to be great demand. The humanities subjects, if you're there into English, you might have to learn about the other areas of humanities as well. So a lot of updates are required. Don't worry. We keep conducting Super Sunday workshops and other workshops. You can participate and get yourself upskilled. Trust me, you will be able to get upskilled very soon, very shortly. And here in this case, let me share my screen once more and get to the details of today's major agenda. So today's agenda is going to be completely based on things called as, here we go, in 3, 2, and 1. You should be able to see the screen. Come on. Oh, it's loading. Great. So this is what they have clearly mentioned. To complete grade 10, students will complete 2 essential courses. I'll repeat it. If you're going through the document, teachers, do not get worried about essential courses. It's not mentioned clearly. From each of the 8 curricular areas available, that is a total of 16 essential courses across 2 years of grade 9 and 10. these either curricular areas, like it's humanities, uske andar 2 essential course hoga. Mathematics and computing, 2 essential course will be there. So when you want to go for all the 8, there are going to be 2 courses under each of these things, essential courses. According to me, with my current understanding, this essential course is actually called as grade 9 and 10. I hope you're able to understand. It's like humanities grade 9 is essential course number 1. Humanities in grade 10 is essential course number 2. This is my understanding and interpretation of this particular document, but I'm not really sure about it. So that is how 16 essential courses come into picture. These are the areas that you have to upskill. So anyone over here, you can just look into one of your subjects and you can see that there are many other subjects coming into picture. And that is the reason B.Ed has become an integrated program. That means you don't have to have a separate specialization on a subject. It will be integrated within your B.Ed program itself. That is the reason. Now it is making sense. Let's go further. Let's go further. So these are the 2 essential courses from each of these curricular, like the same thing they have given in this particular format. So the final certification will be based on the cumulative result of each of these examination. Somewhere indirectly, I'm trying to tell you that there'll be each of these curricular areas will have a separate board exam, 8 board exams. 8 board exams. That is exactly what is mentioned on the document. So that is the reason I said that it's kind of little, unclear. Maybe once you get more circulars and all, things will become more clear. So this is what they've done. Selection process, grade 9 and 10, like once the assessment basically. So this is an annual structure and no semester pattern. All the 8 curricular areas are compulsory to learn. Compulsory, no choice in grade 9 and 10. Each curricular area would have 2 essential courses, accounting to 16 essential courses to be completed by grade 10. So 9th ka or 10th ka milakar 16 essential courses. Students must clear 8 board examination at end of grade 10. These assess each of the 2 essential courses in each curricular area learned during grades 9 and 10. So this is something I think you are able to understand what's not so clear about it. So according to me, what I feel is when they say 8 board examinations, they mean that each of the curricular area will have their own board exam, and each curricular exam itself is called as a board exam. So 8 board exam, rather than calling that as one board exam with 8 subjects or 8 curricular area, they're calling it as 8 board exams. You can go through the document. This is exactly what is mentioned. Yeah, but still I have a question mark on my face right now. I'm waiting for things to become more clear, as there's a lot of time. So let's be maybe fragmented over 2 years. Maybe you're right, Shilpa ma'am, maybe. But this is with respect to grade 11 and 12. I found this to be even more elaborate and detailed in comparison to grade 9 and 10. You can see that the curricular areas are the 8, and each of them has got disciplines. It's like languages, literature, and philosophy. Anyone out there specialized in literature, be ready to get specialized in languages and philosophy. Anyone out there specialized in social science, be ready to get specialized in history, geography, political science, psychology, economics, and sociology. Not difficult. You're already in that. It's just that it has become mandate right now. Students can choose anything they want over here. And that is also mentioned very clearly. So science is like physics, chemistry, biology. Mathematics and computing has got computer science. That's a new update that I've not expected. Like I didn't expect at all. Just imagine computing, computer science and mathematics have become friends just now. Probably got married. It's like that. It's like very close. Mathematics and computing, business mathematics as well. So arts, a lot of importance to arts: music, dance, theater, sculpture, painting, film appreciation, script writing, set design. See, looking at these subjects, I have this conclusion. Many teachers out there, with my limited experience, when I spoke to them, they all had a certain ambition or hobby in their life which they were very fascinated about. It's like मेरी शादी हो गई है, तो I thought let me get into teaching and try my best, and they have excelled very well. There have been teachers who really wanted to be a good teacher out there, and they have become the teachers. But when you look into teaching as an aspect, it covers almost everything. You become a maths teacher who can be good at music, and through music you can teach maths. It's like that. It's not one domain that you're talking about. So if I am a person of computers, I don't have to talk only computers. I can probably dance and talk computers, or I can make an AI model to talk about computers. I can use the references of English and social for computers. So whatever I'm interested in, I can choose that as my primary skeleton of my pedagogy, and I can continue my teaching in that angle. Well, this is also mentioned in further slides. I'll be talking about that as well. So this is going to be Yes. You're right. You're right. So let's continue. So sports is there, and sports ke liye bhi they've given equal importance. Then interdisciplinary areas was kind of confusing, but look at this. Commerce is considered to be interdisciplinary. Sustainability and climate change is a subject. It's a discipline. The students have to learn about it, and you can't categorize there. Health, you can't categorize at all. Media and journalism is come into 10th, 11th, and 12th. That's huge. Family and community sciences, knowledge of India, Indian knowledge, traditions and practices of Indian knowledge, legal studies. List may be enhanced continuously depending on the requirement of a particular school. So interdisciplinary area has become a place from grade 9 to 12, specifically for 11th and 12th, for the students to learn whatever they want. It is believed, according to National Curriculum Framework, the belief is that by ninth and 10th, students develop a maturity on selecting what they are actually wishing to do in their life. But this also has additional impact. I'll tell you what that addition is. Students have this tendency, especially in the adolescence age, they form groups. It could be, the friends who are scoring a good mark, they are all sitting together. The students are not, completely good at sports, they're all sitting together. And the students who are like very naughty, birds of same feather flock together, sitting together, something like that. So when they all sit together, I'm not just mentioning about the seating arrangement here. I'm talking about the influences of thought process also. If my friend selects electrical maintenance, it's one of the occasional subject, I would prefer to select electrical maintenance because my friend is present over there. So somewhere it is very important for a teacher to give the importance of, to tell the importance or give the awareness about the subject rather than the friendship over there. Uh, I think in the last workshop, we spoke that a teacher decides a career of a particular student. Well, it is just not the teacher, even the peers decide the career of a particular student. So these are some of the subjects which the students have to select, but the selection can happen only when the details of each subject is properly dealt in the form of an explanation by the teacher to the students. There could be counselors coming to the school talking about it. There could be actual person working in that particular area. For example, sports ke liye you call Virat Kohli, or you call Bumrah, or you call Chahal is available most times, so you can call all these people and you can make them talk. And respective disciplines may say, if one or two people come and talk to the children, like doctors can come, pilots can come, and an actual software developer can come. This will provide a very good exposure to the children rather than just calling the counselor to the school. Let's continue further. And in this particular case, selection process for grade 11 and 12, what they've said is this phase of stage would be divided into semesters, and each choice based course would be for a semester. Students must complete 16 choice based course to complete grade 12. So that means 11 and 12 May, you have got 2 semesters. Sorry, 11th May, 2 semesters, 12th May. Total 4 semesters are there. Each semester will have two uh, they call something as choice based course. For example, here in this case, science ke under physics, which is like a choice, and physics will be 4 semesters. 11 में 2 बार, 12 में 2 बार. You take mathematics and computing, you choose computer science. Computer science will be there in 4 semesters. Indirectly, they are also telling that you cannot change the subject once selected in grade 11. It's like 4 semesters you have to complete. Though we have got huge list of options, the options are limited to selection only once. Well, I would like to be more confident on that with further circulars. But right now, this is how they have mentioned about in the document. To ensure that the students have adequate breadth, they have to choose disciplines from at least 3 curricular areas, and to ensure depth. Now, what do they mean by breadth and depth? So let me come back to the previous slide. Okay, so whatever you're looking at curricular areas like humanities, social science, math, that is called as the breadth. Breadth, matlab wide topics, area of topics. Depth is each of these topics having physics, chemistry, biology, which are disciplines. So that is called as depth. So rather than calling that as curricular areas and disciplines, they are saying that breadth and depth. I hope you're able to understand. They did not define it properly, and that's the reason I'm explicitly mentioning it again. Well, that forms the last point of the selection process of grade 11 and 12, grade 9 and 10. I'll repeat it. I have not touched upon the board exams as clearly as I'm supposed to, because even the document does not mention it very explicitly if it has to happen 2 times or 3 times. There is a mention of one statement stating the board exams will happen 2 times for sure. I will be showing that also in today's workshop. Let's continue further. And this is how it is. So what they've done is aims of education, curricular goals, competencies, and learning outcomes. This is how the whole document is made after this. The teachers need to understand that we are all doing things that are coming under the category of learning outcomes. I'm using the textbook in order to complete this chapter. These are the learning objectives that I'm supposed to complete, right? That is coming under learning outcomes and objectives. Now, for this particular thing, I need to achieve certain competency. And these competencies came because of the curricular goals. And these curricular goals came because of aims of education. I'll tell you something important over here. Rather than referring National Curriculum Framework 2023 document, I would request you to please refer National Curriculum Framework for foundational stage. वहां पे इस चीज के बारे में explanation is better. I'll show you. So this is how you can go. You can just Google about it. So it's like National Curriculum Framework, foundational stage. Now, foundational stage means it's only for, early childhood education and things like that. But I found this to be, more elaborate. I think page number 59. Let's try that. Great. So this is how it is. So you can see that this is how they have developed it. So CG stands for curricular goals. And curricular goals leads to competencies. You remember aims of education tha, uske baad curricular goal, then the competencies and the learning outcomes. So yahan par they are very clearly, for physical development, curricular goal is this, and these are the competencies. So that is what we have mentioned over here as well in the form of this. I'll slide show this. And you can see this. So there are 13 curricular goals that are identified based on domains of development. You can see that physical development, socio-emotional development, cognitive development, language and literacy, aesthetic and cultural development. ये 5 domains of development है. इसके हिसाब से, according to this, the curricular goal number 1, children develop habits that keep them healthy and safe. You can see that, right? Children develop sharpness and sensorial perceptions. And you can see continuously, last May, there are 13 curricular goals that they're talking about. Now, this is for foundational stage. In similar to this, you have got the same thing, curricular goals for preparatory stage, middle stage, and secondary stage. Where is it present? It is present in National Curriculum Framework main document, which is 628 pages. And for that, I would like to go over here and I would like to show you the index page. And this is how it would look like. The document is actually very neatly arranged, but as a reader, we will be able to connect the dots only when you read at least 50% of the document. Tabhi tak, it is more like a newspaper reading with a very, interesting language. That's it. But otherwise, it's not, that easy to understand. I would like to show you the parts once more. Great. Here we are. Let me show you the TOC. In another 3, 2, and 1. Great. Now here in this case, look at this. Part B, school subjects and areas. We're talking about language education, mathematics education, science education. Remember the structure once more. I reiterate. Aims of education, which leads to curricular goals, which are these 8 areas, which leads to competencies, and that leads to learning outcomes. And for each of the subject area, they have mentioned it separately. You can begin studying this from foundational stage and then come back to this document for better understanding. Now, when you go to science education, I'm just randomly going to one of the areas, say science education, look at the way aims are defined, look at the way the curricular goals are defined. So I come down. So they have written aims. Sabse pehle science education, for each domain, how should it look like? So they've given some aims over there, which are overarching in nature. I'm coming down, and come on. The learning standards have come. So here in this case, you can see middle stage curricular goals, competencies, and illustrative learning outcomes will be further fine-tuned. This is a sample that they've given over here. So it's like curricular goal number 1, explores the world of matter and its constituents, properties, and behavior. That's it. This is the goal. And what are the competencies the students are developing? The students are able to classify matter based on observable physical features, by magnetic, non-magnetic, and everything they've written over there. Describes the changes in matter. These are the competencies. Now, under each of these competencies, learning outcomes are defined. Super elaborate, right? It's very elaborate. Now, CG number 2, CG number 3, curricular goal number 4, I think 7 are there. Curricular goal number 7 for science. Correct. There are 7 curricular goals. And for foundational stage, there were 13 curricular goals. I think you remember now. And finally, when we come to the last stage of learning outcomes, this is what is. So one of the competencies they have taken describes how electricity works through manipulating different elements in simple circuits and demonstrate the heating and magnetic effects of electricity. They're given. Grade 6 में क्या होना चाहिए, grade 7 में क्या होना चाहिए, grade 8 में. These are all learning outcomes. So it is aims, which is a broad statement, curricular goals, which are like subject specific or discipline specific. And right after that, you talk about the competencies, like you have the competency of classification, explanation, analyzing, and things like that. How do we do that? With achieving these learning outcomes. In grade 6, the child should be able to identify different components of a simple circuit. What are they? Bulb, cell, and wire. So learning outcomes are very specific. Competencies are thoda sa specific. Curricular goals are even more overarching. And finally, the aims are totally overarching. It's very important for a teacher who is implementing this to know about this. Only when you know this in and out, you will have a grip and confidence in the new textbook that are going to come next year. Because new textbooks are supposed to be very different. And NCRT is in a mission to come up with one of the best books out there. I don't really, like to call that as books. It's more like a curriculum. Enormous work has been done. Now that was for the middle stage. Now comes the secondary stage. Secondary stage ka again you have got curricular goals. So depending on whatever stage you are in, whatever stage you teach in a particular school, you can come to that respective area, and based on that you can continue your lesson plans. And for lesson plans also they have given some inputs. Yeah, let me show that to you. I'm not getting into the details of subject specific aspects in this particular workshop. It'll be too much of details right now. So let's get into a simple idea, whatever is overarching, and probably in further workshops, we'll delve into each subject specifically. Now, based on aims, curricular goals, competencies, and learning outcomes, they've even given principles of textbook design. And looking at this only, we develop our own curriculum for computer science, basically. For example, they've written curriculum principle. Stick to the competencies and learning outcomes that are given in the document. If you're making anything for yourself, let us stick to that. Well, we are all lucky that NCRT is already making the books for us. There are many boards outside in many nations where the textbooks are not done by government bodies. It's taken care by private publishers, and they follow these frameworks and algorithms. Second is discipline principle. Stick to the knowledge of that particular discipline. A person who's making the book should have a very strong knowledge about it. Very important. And just not the particular discipline, even the other disciplines up to a certain extent. Pedagogy principle is what exactly is the teaching style that is recommended for that particular chapter. Then technology principle, it's all about, right now technology is more like a mandate. Artificial intelligence has to be there in every subject. Then context principle. This is what I really love about competency-based education. Context is all about something that has happened in reality. For example, I'll come up with this one of the context which we have written for our computer science curriculum. So basically, there was one boy, a 9-year-old boy. He has this habit of collecting bottle caps. I think you know this. Some of you would have already known about this. Bottle caps he collects from multiple markets. And he has this hobby and he is able to collect it. One fine day after 2 or 3 months, he's able to find that some amazing observation with respect to those caps. He goes to the market back again and tells the shopkeepers, rather than selling the black drink in this market, sell the orange drink, not Pepsi or Coke, sell Fanta or Mirinda, something like that. You go to the other market and say that don't sell the Sprite over here, go with Mountain Dew. So this particular boy was able to come to a conclusion based on these caps. And how did he do that? Because he was able to observe a pattern of the caps collected from each market. And he was able to see that that particular people or people in that locality are buying a particular type of drink regularly. So based on this suggestion, it was surprising that the market people, the shopkeepers were very happy because the profits got increased eventually. And after a few days and months, in fact, that particular boy started charging for every suggestion that he gave to a shopkeeper. And this boy today is one of the most richest person in the world, the richest. In fact, he's actually called as, do you know who he is we're talking about? The richest in the world, and giving suggestion based on the demands. He's none other than Warren Buffett. And this particular guy talks about investments. Yeah, Warren Buffett. We spoke about it, right, Pavasar? Exactly. And this particular guy, Warren Buffett, also has this, the chapter that we have written is the data science. So for data science to be learned by a particular person, the students, they need that need. Without the zarurat that you don't establish, the students will not, really get involved in the particular subject. And that is what is called as context principle. Familiar to unfamiliar, especially in foundation stages, this is highlighted. But in the secondary and middle stage, it's not a priority, is what the document is mentioned. But it completely depends on a teacher. Presentation principle is visually appealing. This I'm really waiting for NCRT books, because visually appealing is the area where NCRT flaws like anything. I mean, it's really very back. I mean, I do not know, but let's see. They are saying that visually appealing. Let's see how NCRT comes up with the book next year. Diversity and inclusion, balance, gender and community representation is important. So these are the broad principles of textbook design, and they gave the process of development also. Creation, panel members, choice of content, structure of the book, presentation, writing, teacher orientation, and teacher's handbook. The last two slides that I've shown over here, principles of textbook design and process, is not required for us. But look at the document National Curriculum Framework. They've gone to an extent of giving advice to NCRT also, because they feel that end of the day, the textbook forms the point where the students go around everywhere and come back to that mother. So this is the place from where everything origins and ends. Textbook is very important. Let's go further. Now, I would like to show you a small video on this, and then we'll talk about Smriti, and then we'll close the session for today. I'm going to share the sound. And this is how a brain works. This is how a brain works. And look at this. Look at this.
What's going on in the brain when you learn? In order to learn anything, whether it's math, a foreign language, guitar, or how to dribble a basketball, you need to create and strengthen pathways in your brain. Think about shooting a free throw. Know that feeling when you've got it down and don't even have to think about it? That's muscle memory. Here's the thing. Muscle memory lives in the brain.
Vasu sir, are you there?
Not the muscles. Your brain controls everything your muscles do, and it does this by activating specific neural pathways for each and every movement. These are functional pathways, neurons working together to achieve a goal. Say you're learning how to shoot a free throw. If it's your first time doing it, you don't yet have a pathway for that movement in your brain. You need to create it. Let's use an analogy to look at what's happening in the brain during this time. When you're first learning, your brain is like a forest full of trees and dense foliage, with no clear pathway between point A and point B. As you learn the mechanics of shooting a free throw, you create a trail through the forest. Now you can shoot the free throw because you've created that pathway in your brain, but you probably don't make many shots because it's so new. The pathway isn't very clear yet. In order to improve your free throw, you need to refine and strengthen the free throw pathway in your brain. The way you do that is through practice. Practice gradually widens the trail through the trees, turning it into a dirt road between A and B. You're starting to get pretty good now. You're making more free throws than not. You don't have to think about the mechanics as much. That's because the pathway gets stronger after each practice rep. And you've done a lot of reps. With even more practice, the dirt road turns into a paved road connecting A and B, allowing information to be transmitted at a faster rate. Now you're a 70% free throw shooter, and when you step up to the line, you don't even have to think about it. Eventually, with enough practice, what started as a trail has become a full-blown highway. Now you're a master, draining almost every free throw, and the movement is completely second nature. Scientists call this plasticity, and it's your brain's innate ability to create and strengthen connections between neurons. These connections are the path through the forest.
Great. So now you would have understood that when we talk about the brain functionality, this is exactly what even the document mentions about. And they say that it's important for a teacher to establish connections between
What's going on in
multiple
the brain
topics.
when you
Now,
learn?
it can be multiple disciplines or it could be multiple curricular goals, but it has to be established. And for that, they said that these are some of the major elements that are supposed to be in a teaching plan, which looks something like this. And this is kind of the last of the last slides, some of them. So the major components of a teaching plan are, they talk about the presence of competencies, the realizations of the learning outcomes, and intended lesson objectives for that period. It should be teacher directed or teacher guided or student led activities. These has to be there. Prior understanding, which is more like a prerequisite. Content and material to be used, duration and sequence of activities, classroom arrangements. One very nice thing about classroom arrangement is no bench is treated as the first or the last bench. I think I was repeating this even the previous workshop. Anyways, we'll talk about that in detail. Specific strategies for students who need extra help. And these people are not supposed to be called as slow learners or remedial classes, or maybe things can be done additionally in order to support them, but let's not have labels for them. That's what they speak about. Then for further methods of assessment. So these are the major components of teaching. And according to the Upanishad document, again, they have something called as panchadhi written over here, which is adhiti, bodh, abhyas, prayog, and prasar. So basically, adhiti is like whenever you get into the class, you introduce the topic by engaging the children with an open-ended question. It could be a context setting and checking the students of their previous knowledge. Adhiti. Then we have bodh. Bodh is basically the bridge between the engagement, which has happened at the whatever examples that you've given with the textbook, and link with the actual concept. That is conceptual understanding, more like explanation. Then it goes to abhyas, which is more like skills getting generated over here, developed over here, called as practice. And then prayog, which is more from application perspective. Now that I've acquired the skills, let me start using it in my day-to-day life. And finally, prasar, which is expansion, need not happen in the school, but the teacher should be able to give that scope of further developments. That's what they've mentioned as pressure. So this is Panchadi, the 5-step learning process according to the document. And this is how continues. Finally, the last slide called as release of responsibility. Now, release of responsibility is interesting. You look at this, teachers. Teacher responsibility. This is how your class begins. Teacher explains model and strategy. You do that. And students do it by, when you watch them do it. So it's like you watch. It's like it's talking to you. Then that's a collaborative use. You can see that half the things are done by the teacher, half are done by the students. It's like we do it together. And then teacher does a very small role, which is like, now you do it, I watch and guide, which is like guided practice. And finally, the students become independent. It's like you do it alone, and I don't care. I mean, I don't want to watch because you're already ready. So this is gradual release of responsibility methodology. Have this somewhere in your subconscious mind whenever you talk about a particular concept. And when you're able to do this, and if you're doing this properly, that means you've acquired the skill of release of responsibility. Now, this is especially important for early childhood care and education, especially, the foundational stage. Yeah. So this is the last slide, and that's it for today. But I was promising you something related to the AI tool. Let me share that. So there is this tool called as chatpdf.com. I'll repeat it, chatpdf.com. And in this particular website, you can upload a PDF and you can ask any question you want. For example, let me quickly show that to you, teachers. And this is how it looks like. And we go to chatpdf.com. So the moment you open chatpdf.com, you don't have to log in. And the only condition is your PDF should be less than 10 MB. And it should be less than 100 pages, I think 100 or 80, I'm not sure. So once you upload that particular document, you can ask any question. Say, for example, who made this document? Now I'm just going to ask it. So I'm immediately asking the AI tool over there on the right side, and it says that I'm sorry, I don't have that information. The document does not provide the details. I'm saying, can you try again? Let's see what it says. Now it has come. It says that National Curriculum Framework for School Education is a document created by National Council of Educational Research, NCRT. See, nice, no? You don't really have to go to the complete document. Another thing. Let's ask another question. What are the curricular? So the PDF that I have uploaded is National Curriculum Framework over here, and I'm asking questions on that. What are the curricular goals for middle stage? Let's see what is it saying. Oh, it is highlighting that. That's great. So it says that the National Curriculum for Education does not provide a specific list of curricular goals for the middle stage. However, it does mention the middle stage expands the curricular areas to include the explicit engagement. Okay, fine. And they have even given the page number from where it is taken. Give me the list of curricular areas then. Let's see what it says now. It is coming up with that answer as well. You can see that it's saying humanities, social science, science, mathematics, arts, and it continues further. You can directly go to page number 50. The list does not seem to be complete. Check again and reply. See, I'm talking to an AI as if I'm talking to a student. Now the list has become complete. Interesting, right? It's like your notorious child in the class or naughty child in your home. Adha adhura kaam karna, then you have to beat it 2 times. Pyar se. It's like, good job done, and you have to appreciate. Now let's see what it says. Thank you. Okay, done. So this is chatpdf.com. Any document that's really, very big, and you really want to find an information quickly, like you have already gone through it, but you want something really to the point. For example, will board exam happen 2 times? I'm just asking, will board exam happen 2 times? Rather than asking me, I mean, who the speaker over there, like you can have a think and you can directly ask it. So they say that to answer your question, the National Curriculum Framework for School Education does not mention whether the board exams will happen 2 times. However, it does mention that students must clear 8 board exams at the end of grade 10, and there will be changes in board exams at grade 10 and 12. Nice, right? So this is something really amazing about chatpdf.com. I would request you to exploit it left and right and try to use with all the PDF. The beauty is it will work with other languages also. Agar Hindi ka document hai, to bhi it is working very well. You just need to ask the questions in Hindi. Yeah. So shall we close for the day? So thank you so much, teachers, all the dignitaries out there. It really means a lot. Thank you for being consistent for all the 25 Sundays. It really means we would continue to come up with more research, better understanding of the content, keeping the opinions uh, the actual gyan, I mean, the actual philosophical things as less as possible, so that we talk to the point on what exactly is present in the PDF. Let us see how much it's able to impact all the people out there. I would like to reiterate this. If anyone has to remember whatever is happening on the Super Sunday workshop or any workshop for that matter, talk about it, gossip about it with other friends. Try to ask as many questions as possible. You can post a LinkedIn post. You can put it on Facebook. You can start commenting on YouTube channels. And that would give you a grip, a sense of responsibility to go through the document multiple times. This is like the holy book for a teacher, right? The National Curriculum Framework. So yeah, so that's it, teachers, from my side. It was great interacting with one and all. For computers, if any school out there is deciding the curriculum, please remember to talk to us once. I've even asked the question, and I've even given you the login ID and password of our curriculum. You can see the reflection form at the last. I've given the login ID and password. You can enter that. You'll see all our textbooks over there, and you'll be surprised that I've strictly followed National Curriculum Framework 2023. Yeah, and we will have subject wise trainings also, teachers. Right now, let us first complete NCF 2023 from skeleton perspective, and then let us get into each stage separately, and then let us get into each subject specifically. In the meanwhile or meantime, if any school out there would like to have a dedicated session only for your school, teachers, do contact us. I'm traveling like anything right now. I'm there in Kolkata. Next week, I'll be probably there in one of the states of Seven Sisters, and let's see how it works. Yeah, so please call me. I'll be there in the school. Thank you so much, teachers. Great interacting with one and all. I would like to meet you again the next Super Sunday workshop with NCF part 3. And I think that should end National Curriculum Framework from skeleton perspectives. Yeah, thank you, everyone. Bye, everyone. Jai Hind. Thank you, teachers. Archana ma'am, not explicitly mentioned anywhere, so I can't really confidently say yes or no for that. Yes, Basudev sir, good to hear from you. We will have separate session for maths also. Let us see. Maybe not in the Super Sunday workshop. Maybe I'll plan it sometime else. Super Sunday is something for all the people who are working in the education fraternity. If I focus on one subject, then it will not really do the justice for the theme of the session. Why all state boards changing to CBSE schools? No, it's that. See, first of all, not all state boards are changing to CBSE. No, not like that. Maybe we are getting exposed to information where such things are happening. But that's not any law which says that you have to change. At least there's no document. Maybe some person is talking about it, and maybe they are correct because they are having the right resource. From my perspectives, I've not seen any written document stating that all boards are going to be unified. Nothing like that. Okay. Okay, thank you everyone. Yes, Cyril sir, why not? You just message me, you have my number. Let's talk about it. Okay. Romana ma'am, please message a mail on swati@superteacher.in. You will be receiving your certificate. Okay, Basudev sir. After 7 p.m. Done. Done. Sure. Thank you, Sunita ma'am. Oh, is that so, Archana ma'am? Okay. I do not know about it. All the state boards of Maharashtra is getting converted to CBSE schools. Is that so? I'll inquire about it. Thank you, Lakshmi ma'am. Thank you, Shabina ma'am. Thank you, Dr. Amrita. Thank you, Tamanna ma'am. Yeah, chat PDF is very helpful, Hemlata ma'am. You're right. Yes, Meghna ma'am, please tell me, ma'am. Cyril sir, my number is there on the reflection form. For some security reasons, I can't put it on the Zoom chat or YouTube live chat right now. Please fill up the reflection form. You shall get it there. It'll be there. It is there on the top. Yes, Meghna ma'am. I will be coming to Aditya Academy this week as well. I'm requesting for an appointment. Yeah, I'm there this week, this coming week, one of the days, probably, Tuesday or Wednesday in the early morning hours. I'll be there. Yes. Yeah, I would request you to please message me so that I call you and talk about it. Yeah. Meenakshi ma'am, you can fill the reflection form where you can find my number. However, I am sending it. Meghna ma'am, you fill the reflection form, you'll get to see my number over there. However, Tabassum ma'am, I hope you are filling up the reflection forms and inquiry forms. Only then I will be able to issue the certificates. If not, just mail it to Swati. We'll see what could be done. Yes, Rinki ma'am, I'm coming to Gujarat very soon. Yes, for 3 to 4 days, especially Ahmedabad. I need to come and visit Sangeeta ma'am, Army Public School. I'll be there. Great. Coupon code for what, Vijay Gupta sir? It's all free sessions. Yeah. Thank you, Sunita ma'am. Thank you, Pratibha ma'am. Yes, especially ma'am. I'll definitely come and meet you. Oh, okay. No, sir. No, sir. It's no 18 September session CPT batch. There's no coupon. Sorry. Yeah. If the whole school is joining, then we have a separate link, separate discussion with the principal. Yes, Seema ma'am. I mean, I have to learn that. I mean, our team members are actually looking into it. Maybe we'll plan on one of the days. Let's see. Koshtirina, sure. Thank you. So it's time, teachers. Can I get a personal copy of your computer textbook for my personal? What is the procedure? Sunita ma'am, I think I can. Sunita Nagarani ma'am, you've Meridian School, right? I can. I think you can just as of now use the demo password, demo@superteacher. That's the user ID. Password is 123456. You can have an access of the complete set, but still hard copy could also be couriered. Oh, that's great. Xiaomi, that's great. Sure, Cyril, sir. I'll get back to you. I'll definitely get back to you. Okay, Savita, ma'am. I'm coming to Shillong, by the way. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Guwahati, Shillong, and all these places. Thank you, Cyril, sir. Thank you, Cyril, sir, for that information. Ujjwala, ma'am, you can see that on YouTube. Oh, you're from Shillong. Savita, ma'am, are you from Loreto? I'm coming to Loreto. Yes, Sirajuddin, sir. You just need to go to YouTube and search for National Curriculum Framework, Part 1, type Super Teacher, you shall get it. That's it. Great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You'll be getting this. No, if you are attending the Super Sunday workshop and if you're filling the reflection form on the same day before 6 p.m., then the certificates are issued. Yeah. Chalo. Thank you so much, teachers. I'll see you all again once more in the next Super Sunday workshop, NCF Part 3. Bye, everyone.